Psalm 111, verse 9, speaks of how holy and awesome is his name. What name? What name is he talking about here? I was a young Christian in my early 20s, so we're talking a long time ago, and I'd been in church for around 13 years, and it was the first time I heard this name. It was in a song, and it was the name Yahweh. I'd never heard it before in all my time in church. It struck me as a very unusual name, but mysterious. What does Yahweh mean? Who is this Yahweh we're talking of? The more I looked into it afterwards and over the years, the more it began to fascinate me, this name. So much so that I learned that the Yahweh was never spoken aloud by the children of Israel. In fact, they swapped it for the word Adonai, Lord. It was inscribed in letters, YHWH, given to Moses at the burning bush. But the Jews dared not pronounce it and speak it aloud. When reading scripture, it was awe, reverence was born out of a desire to never take God's name in vain. What a powerful reality that God revealed himself through a name that was unspoken in scripture. It was set apart as a uniquely holy name. Imagine being given a name when you were born, but no one ever dared speak that name because it carried such a sacred weight to it. But I'm left with a question, and maybe this is just me, but it leaves me with a question always. If God's covenant people treated this name with such reverence, why is it that we in the New Testament don't? Why is it that we throw it into songs so casually? We even forget its real meaning when singing it. Just put it in the grouping with all the other names of God. You know, there's something about that name. Something about it that when Jesus declared in John 8:58, before Abraham was, I am, he was saying, I am, linking himself with Yahweh, our covenant Christ. It's the same God who revealed himself to Moses. This shows us the wonder, however, of the new covenant, that Christ has made a way and torn the veil for us to come boldly before the throne. But it's still a privilege that should never lead to carelessness with his name. If anything, it should actually deepen our reverence and our love. Christ is indeed our covenant God, covenant keeping, and Yahweh, he is. And his name is still and will always be holy. I love how the Puritan Stephen Charnock once wrote these words. He says, though God be gracious, yet he is not slighted. His name is to be reverenced and his attributes to be adored. It's with that kind of thinking that when I hear this name, I go, and it grips me inside. The Spirit often, I think, convicts me to say, do not be careless with his name. Yeah, by grace, I can call him Father, but I'm calling on Yahweh. Wow, and calling in that name, I must also bow low with holiness. His name is not common name. It's covenantal, holy and glorious. So my dear friends, can I encourage you, let's not use the name Yahweh lightly, but let's speak it with pure lips, with reverence and a pure heart that's honouring God with love. And may our lives reflect him in holiness. Perhaps this reflection is just for me, not anyone else. But my prayer is that when I speak his name, it will be with purity. I'll speak it with humility. I'll speak it with trembling joy. I'll speak it because I treasure it deeply, deep in my heart.